Good evening, one and all present here. Happy Krishna Janmashtami to all of you. I'm today's 21st edition of Samvaada. I welcome all of you who are present here. I'm going to introduce that person who is giving talk today, Dr. Bitasta Das, who is good friend of me. I am happy to introduce her today. Bitasta Das is a senior editorial assistant in the Office of Communications since 2020. She takes care of publishing IISc Press books, and also she writes articles for IISc Connect magazine. She herself is an author and has published 2 books from IISc Press, that is Arting Science and Jal Jangal Zameen in the Age of Science and Technology. And her 2 more books are Social Problems, Women Empowerment and Population Issues and Diversity of India, Discordant Discourse, Revisiting Assam's Ethnic Issues. She is an editor, TEDx speaker, member, State Planning Commission, Chhattisgarh. She was also an instructor, Humanities, at the undergraduate program of IISc, Bangalore. She has a PhD in Cultural Studies and has qualified the NET in Folk Literature. At UG IISc, she was teaching two subjects, Cultural Analysis and Mapping India through the Folk Arts. Welcome, Bitasta. Over to you.
Thank you, Kavita, for the introduction. It's I usually who does the introduction. We have another series of lecture called Paraspar, and I take care of that also, and usually it's me who's doing the introduction for the speakers, but today I'm on the other side. So the lecture that I'm going to give today is titled The Joy of Publishing. So I have been lucky enough to see the both sides, author as well as the publisher. Now with the Office of Communication, we have the IISc Press. So I also know the, angle from the publisher's perspective. So I will draw from my experience from both and give this talk. And I hopefully will inspire some of you to publish with IISc Press, hopefully. So I have structured my talk in 3 parts. One is significance of publishing. Then I will go on to joy of publishing. And the last part will be about the IISc Press. So significance of publishing. So here I'm basically today going to talk about publishing books. There are other kinds of publication also, like research, research articles or publishing in magazines. We also do a lot of science communication publishing. But here I'm basically going to stick about publication of book in this lecture. So as we know, books are the easiest and the first source of information and education. So that is, I have listed that as, of course, these are not an exhaustive list, but I have listed few of them about the significance of publishing, the significance of books. Education and learning. Books provide a wealth of information and knowledge on various subjects, making them an essential tool for education and learning. Whenever a child is growing up, the first thing that we give them for, their information is a book. So it's the first, culturally, it's the first source of our learning. Emotional development. Books can help individuals understand the process, their emotions, develop empathy, and gain different perspective. Because they say that a person can go around the world without going anywhere by reading a book. It develops perspective in the reader. It develops, empathy for the subject they are reading about, because because books make you understand things, gives you perspectives which you wouldn't have had otherwise. That way, it develops the emotions of a person. Personal growth and critical thinking. Books can stimulate imagination and critical thinking. They help understand the world around. They help analyze, interpret it, and judge information. So books are a good source of, your personal growth. They would give you, as I said earlier, they give you perspectives on different things. So it also helps you, expand your imagination, Dissemination of knowledge. Books allow individuals, organizations, and institutions to share information, ideas, research findings, and knowledge. This is essential for advancement of society and the progress in various fields. So when whenever you want to disseminate your idea, you do it through books. That is one good source of dissemination of your ideas. Information access. Books ensures that people have access to up-to-date information on current events, politics, economics, and culture. It empowers individuals to make informed decisions and stay connected to the world. It lets you be up-to-date. It lets you be, abreast with the current happenings around the world. Record keeping and documentation. Books serves as a means of documenting historical events, cultural heritage, and societal development. They help preserve the collective memory of a society and provide future generations into insights into the past. So many things of the past we wouldn't have known if it was not documented in books. So many of the happenings of the past about history, what happened to our country, during the colonial times, we wouldn't have known if it was not documented in a book. Okay, so it is a good source of preserving our history. Creative expression. Books allow writers, poets, artists, and creators to express their thoughts, ideas, and creativity. It provides a platform for diverse voices of perspective to be heard, fostering cultural enrichment and artistic development. So it is a source of expressing yourself. You want to say so many things, but how do you do it? How do you, communicate it to others? Books is one good source. It helps you talk about your emotions, your thoughts, your ideas, to the world. And lastly, cultural exchange. Books enable exchange of ideas and stories across borders and cultures. It promotes cultural diversity, understanding of making literature, art, and perspectives from different regions accessible to a global audience. So we might not have the chance to visit different places, different countries, but how would we know about them? We would know them. Of course, now with internet, we have access, through other means. But traditionally, books were the means to know about, people and their perspectives and the lives of different regions. So these are some of the things that I have listed. This is, again, I'm saying it's not exhaustive, but this, according to me, for me, are the important features of a book, significance of a book. So joy of publishing. I'm coming to the second section. So as I said, I have had the opportunity to, what happened? Okay, so we come to the next part, the joy of publishing part. Here, as I said, that I'm going to speak both as a publisher and as an author. So here I'm basically, I'll be basically talking about my books, my publications, and, the process that I went through during publication of this. So these are the 6 books that I have been associated with as an editor and as an author. My first book was my PhD thesis, Discordant Discourse. That was published in 2018. Then Arting Science was published in 2017. And both Arting Science was also published in 2017 after that. So the first book, as I said, was my PhD thesis. Then second book, Arting Science, was about the course that I teach with the undergraduate program. Then Jal Jangal Zameen is also on the course that I teach with the undergraduate program. Then Social Problems, the book on social problems of India is a book used for the IIS examination, the UPSC examination. Then the other book is on tribal health and policy. And the book, that the cultural industry, I was part of the editorial team of that book, the cultural industries book. So if I have to talk about the joy of publishing, for different people, publication means different things. But for me, I'm listing out few things that meant for me while I was publishing and why I published these books. So for me, the joy of expressing original ideas. When I published my first book, my book on based on my thesis, my PhD thesis, That book was about the cultural conflicts of Assam, basically Assam, but I was also drawing it from, cultural conflicts of different parts of India. That was, the joy of publishing that book came from the fact that I was adding something new to the available knowledge. It was as if I was contributing something to the knowledge that is, existing. So that was one idea. That was one way of, having your original ideas out to the world. Then arting science was another original idea, a pioneering idea of bringing science and art together, folk art together, and seeing how they can come and have a dialogue with one another. So that was, the second publication. And again, I thought I was giving out some original ideas to the world. Joy of sharing knowledge. So if you have knowledge, what is the use unless you don't talk about it, share about it, and discuss about it? So that was another joy for me, that I was sharing my knowledge, I was sharing my thoughts with the world. So joy of inspiring readers. When somebody comes to me and tells that they have been inspired by my books, they are other scholars from who are working in the Northeast region, they come and say that I refer to your book for my work. I'm taking it from there. It gives you a very inexplicable joy that somebody is making use of your work and taking it forward from there. So that is another joy of inspiring readers and inspiring people to do more work in the same field. Joy of validation. When a book is published, you feel happy that publication of a book is a long process. It starts from your proposal getting accepted till it is published and printed, and the sellers take your book to sell it out. So it is a big, long process, and in every step you need validation. In every step they have to agree that this is a good product and it's viable and people will appreciate it. So in every step there is validation. When from the process, from the starting, when the proposal is accepted, you feel okay, my ideas are validated, my thoughts are all right, and I know something from the field. You feel good about it. Then finally, when the book comes out, you feel that you have contributed something to the existing knowledge. Your writing skills are appreciated. You're accepted as a person knowing something in this field of work. So these are the things that gives you happiness, validation. And lastly, the joy of leaving behind a legacy. You feel that you will be gone not someday. You never know when you are gone, but you'll be leaving behind something, for the future generation. You will be leaving behind some thoughts, some ideas, something to inspire them. Maybe they would want to work more on that. So you're leaving behind a legacy that, that will inspire others. So now I come to the last part of my talk, the IISc Press. I won't take, I didn't want to make this talk very long because I know everyone has to go home, and if the rain comes, then we'll be stuck. So I'm going to talk about the IISc Press now. Most of you must be knowing that we have a press called the IISc Press, which publishes books, and we publish books which might be textbooks, research monographs, biographies, lecture notes, collected notes of distinguished scientists, popular science, field notes, and general interest books. So before me, Kavita was taking care of it. I joined the Office of Communications in 2020. After that, I have been in charge of the day-to-day activity. We have a IISc Press committee consisting of 4 people. Then Professor Kaushal Verma is the ex-officio member, and I and Lilakshi here, Deepak also. We, Sandeep also, Bharti and Jayashree, all of us actually take care of the day-to-day activities of the press. So this is our website, and that is our email ID. So the press is housed under Office of Communication. The press started in 2008 in the centenary year of the institute, and the motto was to bring quality books in accessible price. We don't want to make them very costly because we want we want students to be, being able to access it. So our motto is that, our tagline is that, quality books in affordable price. So, yeah. So this is our website. As I told you, we publish a wide range of books. We published textbooks mostly for students. We publish research monographs, And basically the areas are science, engineering, and elite science disciplines. Design is another one. But we want to expand, and we are expanding, and gradually. So up till now, IISc Press has published. Okay, I should also tell you that we publish books independently. IISc Press publishes book independently, but we also publish books with our co-publisher. We have 3 co-publishers: the Cambridge University Press, the World Scientific Publishing Company, and Taylor and Francis. And recently there have been talks about co-publishing with Springer also. So we have this 4 co-publishers, but besides that, we also publish independently. Okay, so up till now, since it started in 2008, so it's been 15 years. This is the 15th year of IISc Press, and up till now we have published 20 books independently and 50 plus book with the co-publishers. Okay, this got cut. So this is the process. I wanted to discuss a little bit about the process. How, if somebody among you have an idea of a book, we very welcoming you, and please publish with us. Please consider publishing with us. I'm just giving you a brief of what the publication process consists of, so that you have an idea. So the process is submission of the book proposal. So there are forms available online. You can download them from the IISc Press, or you can write to us in our email ID, and we'll send you the form. So you fill up the form, and it will be reviewed by the IISc Press committee. And the IISc Press committee would either say yes or no. So if it is no, then we don't take it forward from there. If it is yes, then we send it to 2 publishers. 2 reviewers we send it to, and these reviewers will go through the proposal in more detailed form. We usually ask you, if it is a yes from the IISc Press committee, we usually ask you to send 1 chapter, so that the reviewers have a better idea of what the book is going to be like. So the reviewers go through it and would either say that it is okay, or they will ask you to review some part of it, revise some part of it, and in extreme cases it will say rejected. These 3 options are possible. So if in case they say that you have to revise a part of it, we give you some time, and we ask you how much time will you require to give us the revised version. And once you give us a revised version, it again goes through the reviewer, and when the reviewer says yes, then so we give the time to the authors to respond. Then after revision, if revision is required, if after giving us the revised version of your manuscript, we start a production. So first is copy editing. We assign a copy editor. The copy editor will look at your manuscript in very details. It's a very back and forth process. Many authors sometimes do not like the comments, the suggestion, the editing that the copy editor has done. So it's a back and forth process until both parties are happy and satisfied. We don't close it. So it's goes on for some time. Then after that, it goes to the designer. The designer designs the layout of the book, the cover of the book. So that comes under production. Then we assign an ISBN. IISc Press has account with Ram Mohan Lohia agency, which is the formal agency in India, which assigns ISBN. So we get a ISBN for the book. Then the printing process happens. Usually we print 500 copies, but it can be more. We have a book launch after that. Then the distribution starts. We sell it to different sellers for the book to be sold. We send it to our Tata Book House, sends it to Amazon, and other than that, we have other book distribution agencies also. So this is the process that goes through, and this entire process might take a year in average, but it can take a little bit more than that also. So from the time you submit us the book proposal till the time it is printed, this is the timeline. It's on average it's 1 year. So that is the time it takes for a book to be published. So what are the qualities that makes a book good? How do we call a book a good book? So it has to have certain criteria. It has to have certain features so that the book is considered to be worth publishing. So it has to have a compelling idea. So it has to be original idea. So you cannot you have to be contributing something to the knowledge. It cannot be something that has already been said and you're not saying something new. This is not generally accepted. You should be saying something original, something new for the readers. So that is one, the first criteria of publishing a book. Second is it should be a compelling subject. It should be appealing to the readers. Readers should get something out of it after reading it. So that is another feature. Then thoughtful storytelling. The structure of the book, the structure of the narrative should be such that it lets the reader turn the pages. The readers have to be engaged. They have to appreciate what is being written. Engagement. So it has to be communicating something. It has to be the more and more it is thought that the onus of making meaning out of text lies with the reader, but again, it is also the responsibility of the book to be also engaging the readers. It has to communicate something to the reader. Okay. So the target audience has to be defined. So many of the authors say that it's a general book. It will be appealing to a large audience, but it is from a publisher's point of view. We would be targeting certain section of audience, and it might be school-going children. It might be postgraduate students. It might be some people who are involved in science and technology. So there are different sections of people as from the perspective of a publisher, and you should be targeting that set of audience. You should be able to tell us that whom you're targeting, so that we know where to publicize our book. Okay, we know whom we'll get our money back from, because again, production of a book is a costly affair. It's not it's not easy to publish a book. It takes a lot of resources, human resources as well as financial resources. So we should be able to get the money back. So we should know your target audience. So finally, the point that makes a book relevant is that it should be timeless. There are so many books that was written in the 19th century that we still read today. Because why? Because they have spoke about issues, they spoke about ideas that are relevant even today. So it should have that kind of timelessness. It has to have. It should not be very short-lived. It should have ideas that can be passed on from generations to generations, and people of various generations can make sense of it. Okay, so these are a few of the points that should be kept in mind when you are, writing a book. So here again, I'm here from the IISc Press, asking you to submit proposals. Do consider publishing with us. We publish a range of books. You can have a look in our website. So with that, I will end my lecture. I can take a few questions if you have. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
But I would like to know
From
challenges in the sense of not only publication point of view.
Hello.
yeah.
So my question is, what are the challenges which you figure out as a publisher also, and as you have written books also, and I have referred your third book, that is Social Justice and Women Empowerment, but I was not knowing you are here. Means I have referred it 2-3 years back. But actually my question is, what are the challenges you as an author consider while framing the whole book as a chapter wise? And the other portion is, as a publisher, what you have mentioned some of the points.
Yeah.
These points are it's desirable for some book to be published.
Right.
But there will be some angle of the quality also. The content will be appealing, but you are not satisfied with whether it will be market viable or not. So how you judge accordingly? So first question is your challenges according to an author while framing the things, and the second is with respect to the publisher, how you are judging it accordingly.
So I'm talking from my point of view. It might not be true for all authors. My most challenging, the greatest challenge I get sometimes is what you call a writer's block. You have the idea in your head, but you don't know how to express it. So that is the big thing. And sometimes I don't write for months together. I have been wanting to write a book. I haven't written for 2 years now, because I have not been able to sit down and put my thoughts into in paper in my writing. it's sometimes it goes months together that you go without writing. It's called writer's block, as you might be knowing. Other thing is that when you're doing pioneering work like the arting science that we did, or jungle we did, you don't have any other reference. You don't have reference to look up to. You have to generate it from your own, first-hand work. So that is another challenge that I had faced. And other than that, it is also, again, finding a publisher is very difficult because you have some thought. Most of my books have been interdisciplinary, and you don't know where to pitch it. You don't know whether it will be appealing to the people who are discussing policies, or you don't know it will be appealing to people who are discussing culture. You don't know, if it will be appealing to the science community, science and technology community. So sometimes you find it difficult where to pitch your book, as as all the publishers would ask you, who is the target audience. So sometimes I find it difficult to pinpoint my target audience. That is another difficulty. Again, all of us have our jobs, and writing is a part of our life. Sometimes, the work gets so hectic that it consumes all your time. You don't really get the time, because writing is a very lonely activity. You have to be alone. At least that is how I do. I don't know about others. You have to be alone. You have to be secluded. You have to have no disturbance for your thoughts to flow. So many times I find it difficult because you're doing your job, you're doing a regular 9-to-5 job, you have thoughts of your work also coming along, it's all intermingled. And how do you get that secluded time for writing? That is another challenge that I face. So these are, I think, major challenges that I face. Most of them are like, because I have been trying to do something with science and technology and art in the recent years. That's a subject not many have touched upon, and I don't find enough material to refer to. In publication, there should be a validation from somebody that this person has done this. So writing, anything written is a validation. So if somebody has already published something and you're referring to that means that validation is already there. You're just working on the subject, you're extending it. But if that validation itself is not there, you're starting from the scratch. That is one very difficult area. Though it has plus and minus things, you are again bringing out something original, but again you have to start from the scratch. Okay, that are few of the difficulty that I face as an author. As a publisher, what we face are IISc Press has a lot of people involved. We have reviewers, we have copy editors, we have the IISc Press committee. So, validation or the importance of the book that comes up from IISc Press is not an issue, because it has gone through so many people. First, it has gone through the IISc Press committee, then it has gone through 2 experts, 2 reviewers. Then it has gone through the copy editor, who looks into the basic argument of the book, and also about how the structure of the book is there, if the narrative is flowing properly, if the language is proper, grammar is proper. So it has gone through so many screenings. So we know that when ultimately a book is coming out from IISc Press, it will be a good book. So that problem is not there, because we sitting at the office are not the only one who is judging this book. There are other people also who is judging, who are experts, and they know their work. So that is not a problem here, but sometimes we find, as Leelakshi would be better positions to say that, again, making the author satisfied, and also, the viability of the book, bringing these two together is a little difficult sometimes. The author has good ideas, but we don't think that it might be weak, because we are a publisher now. We have to see from the other end. We have to see the sellability of the book. We have to see, if there will be an audience. So sometimes that bringing these two people together, bringing the viability of the book and also the author's agreement is difficult. Also, sometimes they have fight with the designer, they have fight with the copy editor. So bringing everyone on the same page is a little challenging for us. Yeah. Please publish with us. Thank you.
Anybody?
Yes.
So when you say a book proposal, is it like a pitch? Or is it like the actual book? Or
So the form has a few things like your name, your affiliation, those things. And but what is ideal and what we will be desiring is that you give us a writing sample. If it's a first chapter of your book, that is very good. If not, that you can do a work in progress kind of a chapter. That is desirable. Otherwise, otherwise the form has things like what is the topic of your book, title of your book, what are the contents of your book. Those kind of things are there.
so when you say a proposal, more than the idea, it has to be fleshed out a little bit more.
Fleshed out a little bit more.
Okay.
Because you have to give us the table of content.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the question at the end.
So I have two questions. I have two questions.
First is how do you promote once the book is published?
Yeah.
Is it like you run advertisements or the seller will do it for you? What is the process? Because eventually it has to reach a wider range of audiences.
So when a book is ready, we do a book launch. That itself is the first announcement that the book is ready. There is a kind of book like this, and we try it and send it to as many places as possible. So that is the first thing that we do to publicize the book. Second, we have a number of tie-ups. We have a tie-up with Gangarams here, the book seller, the book house, the Gangarams. Then we have tie-up with Field Books, who is a book distributor, and it sends our books to different, book houses and different places. So other than that, we have Tata Book House, who sells our books, and also they send it to Amazon online selling. We do it through our website, IISc Press website, and Office of Communication websites. So till now we have been doing this, but we want to expand. And if it is suppose it's a co-published book, like CUP and IISc Press has published it together, CUP, that Cambridge University Press, would also take up the responsibility of distributing the books.
Second question would be on royalty share. Whatever book it's being published through IISc Press, does it hold a royalty share?
Not at the present moment, but we are working towards it. We will get there.
If at all there would be a royalty share, so how does the distribution work in general? Because the main party would be the author, but indirectly there would be so many people involved.
So as I told you, IISc Press right now do not have a royalty giving system, but we are working towards it. But our co-publishers do have. So if you are publishing with Cambridge University Press and IISc Press combined co-publishing, I think it's 10%, Kavita, if I'm not wrong. It's 10%. Whatever you're selling, the author gets 10% of it. And as you said that there are other people who are involved, like there's the copy editor, there's the designer, there is other thing. They get a lump sum amount for the book.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yes.
First is like if a newbie who doesn't have any idea, who doesn't have proper understanding how book can be, means the content should be, he has everything in his mind. But as you said, there is a challenge how to make the
book,
structured book. So if a person who is very new, but he has a great idea in his mind and he wants to portray like a rough structure, so how he should approach, means what should be the means proper reference he should take for any topics?
So for that, I would suggest that the author, the prospective author, should read more. They should read as much as possible to get an idea how others have structured their content. The flow, the chapterization. They'll get a very good idea if they keep reading more around that subject. That is one option, but there are other options also, like we are also trying to do, IISc Press is also trying to do, to give orientation on publication. Other I'm told that Cambridge University Press has this timely workshops on structuring your book, writing a book, how to form your ideas into bring it to light. So they have workshops time to time. we will also do, but yeah, on the process.
And one more thing, your book on social justice, women empowerment, and one. So I have gone through that book. So have you referred any other reference for structuring it, or it's your own idea that how?
No. So for that particular book, I was told by the publisher that they want a book of this nature, and the UPSC exams, expirants. These were the topics of that particular paper. So I was supposed to write on those particular topics. So for that, I did my research. I went to the libraries to get my information. I took help of the internet for statistical data. So I was given a list of things for that particular book that I need to write on. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
To publish your books.
Yes. So I should tell you how I wrote Arting Science. Arting Science actually is a collection of my students' artworks. In that particular year, I gave my undergraduate student. So I teach a course on mapping India with the folk art. So I teach the science student, the undergraduate students, about Indian folk art, the paintings, the music, the dance. And that particular year, I was teaching visual art. And I told them that express a scientific concept through an Indian folk art. Okay, so they brought out, I wish I had images, today I don't have, I usually have. So they painted things like Mendel's law through Madhubani art or Archimedes' principle to Worli art. So they were fantastic work. And I was thinking what to do about, I want to document this, I want people to look at it, what should I do about it? It was going on in my mind, what can I do about it? So that people can see, people can have a look, people can get inspired by it. And most of it know how much scope our Indian folk art have, because we usually relate our Indian folk art to rural things, unsophisticated things. But here we are talking about sophisticated, complex science concepts through this, art forms. So I wanted people to look at it. And, coincidentally, I happened to go to a book release at Faculty Hall. And Professor Ananta Suresh was giving a talk, and he was saying that everybody has a book inside them, and it's a matter of time how we bring it out. So that inspired me a lot. Everybody has a book inside. Of course, I had a book inside. I had this idea in my mind that people should look at it. So that's how the idea came into being. I took these pictures. I, wrote I articulated my thoughts on how art and science can be brought together, what kind of scope, what kind of value our folk art has. So these are the things that I were running in my head, but I had to just bring it out. So this is how I brought it out. I put an essay there, and everyone appreciated it. It was like it's been appreciated. People in IISc, the guests are gifted this book. Even the president, when they came here, he was gifted this book. So there's a sense of appreciation around this book. But again, you have this idea. You don't know whether it is right. You don't know whether it is wrong. I would always urge everyone I talk to just bring it out, whether it is right or wrong, correct or not correct. Whether people will appreciate or not appreciate will come later. If there's a thought inside you, just bring it out. Put it on the paper, then see what you can do about it.
Yeah, my question is, IISc Press will take general books, not for science.
No.
It is actually for publishing scientific books, because most of them it is possible only for faculty members or who has science background. Yeah. So if they are not any story books, if so that is possible, okay. I think this audience...
I am telling this before I should be telling or not, I don't know. But I am telling you, we are discussing about sending out a call to IISc community to write stories on science. And IISc Press would publish it. So we are trying to see different ways in which you can talk about science. These are some of the ways you talk about science. So presently IISc Press publishes books on science, engineering, and elite science disciplines. Like my books were on art. It was on Indian folk art, but it had something to do with science. It was talking about science. So it was, it fell in the purview of the interest that IISc Press has. But you have to pitch it that way, that how science and technology community would benefit from your book. If you can pitch it that way, it would be acceptable for IISc Press.
Thank you, Bitasta. Any questions? Anybody has plans to publish your books?
Anybody has plans? Please look up our website, IISc Press website. You will get a lot of information. Otherwise, you can write to me. I'd be happy to guide you. We can close it. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope this was little helpful for you. Please keep on thinking about your ideas and let your ideas flow. Thank you.
Thank you, Bitasta, for your ideas and ideas in giving publishing a book. So hope we all will be able to write books, but hope IISc Press takes it, because we are not technically, I don't know whether we'll be able to publish technical books. So I'm happy to say that I was the one who published her 2 books, Jal Jangal Zameen and Arting Science. I involved in all the process. So I was very happy to see that Arting Science book, because many science equations, research was published in art form. That is how I used to promote that book, and while selling in the IISc Press bookstall during open day and so on. So once you are a publisher, you should be able to promote that book, and you should know what is that book. You should read that book, and then you can advertise, by marketing that way. So that way, that book sold very well, Arting Science and Jal Jangal Zameen. I'm very happy that I was part of publishing that book. Thank you, Bitasta. Thank you one and all who have stayed patiently, listened to her, and it was very joyful to publish a book. Hope we all get an opportunity to publish a book in our lifetime. So even we all have many ideas in our mind, but as you said, we should have time to publish books and document it and so on. So all of you, thank you once again, and please join us for high tea in the hall. Okay, thank you.